Hi, I'm Firefighter Thompson, and this is the El Dorado Fire Department's fitness, endurance, and agility test. It'll simulate different kind of situations you might find on the fire ground and test your physical aptitude. Our first obstacle is going to be the ladder raise, which is going to be demonstrated by our Lieutenant Snow. The first and most important part is that we're going patiently, even though this is a timed test, making sure to hit each rung as we raise it to the top. Once it's sufficiently raised, we're going to have it flat against the wall where we can start adjusting the angle to make sure it's safe for ascent. We grab at 2 separate rungs and we start pulling out from the bottom. To know that you have a safe angle, your arms need to be perfectly perpendicular, and then you'll know that the angle is right for climbing. Once you start making your ascent, make sure to have 3 points of contact, having one arm and 2 legs, or 2 legs and 1 arm at one time, and not to miss any rungs as you're going up. Patiently make your way back down. By the time you've fully descended, place the ladder back into place against the wall and hit each rung coming down to avoid a fail point. Lay the ladder down gently. This is our next obstacle, the hose drag. Lieutenant Tolan will be showing us how to demonstrate it. When it comes to the hose drag, technique and momentum are some of the most important things because this is one of the more stressful and strenuous exercises that you can do throughout the FEAT test. Make sure when you're first picking up the hose drag that you put it correctly on the shoulder, whether it's on your dominant side or non-dominant, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And make sure that the nozzle doesn't go down below the belt. If you have it in the proper position, you're going to get the most power, whereas if you keep it up on the shoulder, you're not going to have much power to work with at all. Now, a couple of ways to make it easier on you is coming at an angle, making sure that you pull it to a degree to where it doesn't catch on the barrel immediately, so you have more hose to work with down there and less to pull against the barrel itself. Make sure that you don't pass the orange cone or it counts as a fail point. Lieutenant Dolan. The last part of technique comes down to keeping your center of mass as close to the ground as possible. Utilize your weight for this exercise so you can maximize how much power you can pull on the hose. As the hose rounds the barrel, we need to pay attention to the tension when the hose finally catches against the side. Right here is where the most strenuous position happens, and if you aren't ready for it, you can lose a good section of the hose that you were working with. Make sure to maintain momentum and shift your weight in a way that you can pull it effectively. Once the hose reaches its point of origin again, you can drop the hose and move on to the next obstacle. This next portion will be demonstrated by Firefighter Temple. It's a simple hose roll, and what's important is to make sure that it stays tight the entire time. Once you have to start unrolling the hose, you're going to have a much easier time if you successfully rolled it up well in the first place. Make sure to go at your own pace and that the hose stays lined up with itself. For the final portion of the hose roll, make sure you maintain whatever rhythm you feel comfortable with and lay it out as straight as possible. This is Lieutenant Lewis, and we're going to take the high-rise pack and put it on our shoulder and climb the stairs. By the time you finish the hose drag, you're going to be a little tired, but still make sure that even if you aren't, to take your time with this and go slowly and patiently as to not miss a step. By the time you finish your ascent, make sure that you come in with the high-rise pack, you place it on the side, and you move on to this obstacle over here. Once you finish ascending the stairs, put the high-rise pack down in the position that we showed before. You're grabbing the rope on the ledge, and you're pulling the hose all the way up to its top. Make sure to go hand over hand the entire time you're pulling it and to not let it slip from your grip. Once it's finally reached its top, don't let the rope slip and don't let the hose fall. Again, Hand over hand is the most important part to avoid any fail point. This next portion will be representing forceful entry. With firefighter chambers, we're going to take this sledgehammer and hit it against the tire until it goes completely flush against the wall. What we're going to do is make sure that our hands maintain the same distance the entire movement. Get into a position of power where you're using your core, and by the time you finish hitting, make sure it's in a position that you feel comfortable and have the most strength. Once the tires completely touch the wall, you can move on to the next obstacle. Our final portion is the dummy drag, which will be represented by firefighter forward. Now what's important with the dummy drag is that even though you're tired, you're making sure that you're having a good grip and you pick it up off the ground as much as you can to reduce the amount of friction between the dummy and the ground itself. Shift your weight in a way that you have the most power and keep your center of gravity pushing forward the entire time. Maintaining momentum is the most important part of this technique. As you're rounding the corner, make sure that the barrel doesn't make contact with the dummy. And as you finish up, come back to your point of origin and round the second barrel. You can now put down the dummy and the obstacle is finished. You have a total of 12 minutes to complete every obstacle in this course. And with enough effort and patience, you too will have completed the El Dorado Fire Department's fitness course. Remember, stay hydrated and get plenty of rest after this, and thank you for your participation.